Razabani for FightHype.com with me, promoter Eddie Hearn. Eddie, you alright?
Yeah, very well, mate. Yourself?
I'm good. I'd first like to say thank you for letting Fight Hype to this particular
really?
media day.
You're not normally invited?
No, we're not normally invited. This is only for...
You've cracked it for the...
broadcasters.
Well, there you go. You've cracked it.
You're a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So...
it shows you the importance of YouTube channels.
Well, yeah, your team was ringing me last week and this week and saying, can you attend?
There you go.
AJ's team were ringing me. I'm like, absolutely.
There you go. Fight Hype.
Cracked it. Anthony Joshua Povetkin, you've gone on record to say this is his toughest fight. Why is this his toughest fight?
I believe the quotes were one of his toughest fights, if not the toughest fight. I think it's tougher than every fight he's had other than Klitschko. But at the time of Klitschko, he didn't quite have the circus, you know, Wilder, Fury, you know, in Britain as well. It's a remarkable country which supports you, and then when you start conquering, almost wants you to fuck up, you know, which is remarkable. But we've done this. For Frank Bruno, when he won a world title, it's like his popularity dipped rather than exploded, you know? Tim Henman, Andy Murray, it's like, go on, he's won Wimbledon. Oh, he's Scottish, isn't he? You know, like, it's like, so, I just think there's a lot of pressure on him. I think there's a lot of pressure. And one of the biggest parts of the pressure is because the people outside of boxing don't quite realise how tough and dangerous a fight this is. In boxing, everyone I've spoke to gone, yeah, they still fancy AJ to win, but it's like, it's a tough fight, you know. And when you look at Povetkin's team, when you look at World of Boxing, when you look at Andrei Rybinski, you look at Russia and the government, they'll, trust me when I say, they'll be wanting a Russian victory over Britain on September the 22nd, and they'll be wanting a heavyweight world champion. And make no mistake, Anthony Joshua is the #1 heavyweight in the world, and if Povetkin beats him, he's #1. So everything to play for, as always, in front of 80,000 at the National Stadium. It's going to be another unbelievable night.
Obviously, Povetkin was caught a few years ago cheating. He's 38 years old, I believe, 38, 39 years old. Age is obviously completely against him. Anthony Joshua, the younger, the fresher athlete. A lot of people say it's just a complete mismatch.
No, but then what must you think of AJ? You know, if you look at the independent rankings, take a rank, I don't know, the Ring Magazine rankings, yeah? #1 is Anthony Joshua. #2 is Deontay Wilder. #3 is Alexander Povetkin. So how can 1v3 be a mismatch? How can a mismatch be against a guy who's only had 21 fights, against a guy who's only lost once to Vladimir Klitschko on points? 2 Olympic gold medalists, you know, and I wouldn't say age is on Povetkin's side, of course not, but experience is. You know, he's much more experienced than Anthony Joshua. And what baffles me is that, like, when you look at, you know, he said something really interesting in a media thing where he said, you know, he talked about Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis, when he was boxing, everyone was saying, oh, he's boring, oh, he gets behind the jab. Now, he was an unbelievable technician and a legend, you know? So you have to look at where we're at the moment. If he beats Povetkin, we would be 22 fights in. Which, when you look at the careers of Vladimir Klitschko, Lennox Lewis, they haven't fought anyone after 20, 21 fights. AJ would have beaten Povetkin, Parker, Takan, Klitschko, White, Brazil. I mean, all within 22 fights. It's phenomenal. How many fights Wilder had? 42, 41? Jesus, I mean, we should be applauding this man, really, and saying, what you're achieving is phenomenal. Most guys after 21 fights, you think they'd want to go and fight Povetkin? No chance. So he's dealing with his obligations, his mandatory obligations, which happens when you are a world champion, and particularly a unified world champion. You can have a lot of them, and this is the second mandatory challenge he's had to face.
If you could confirm, I've read somewhere that the WBO have said that if he's successful on next week, he will have WBO mandatory. So is that correct?
He will have a WBO mandatory. The WBO mandatory will be called next. Now, you always have the opportunity to either try and make a unification fight, there's only one to make, or to ask for a voluntary defence. But after the WBO one, the IBF mandatory will be called as well. which will be his next fight after the next one. So I don't know, November, December next year will be Hughie Fury or Pulev. So like, you ain't really got a lot of time for voluntaries, so you might as well just fight your mandatories, or vacate belts, or fight unification. So again, our preference 100% is to fight Deontay Wilder in April. But when they won't reply to your emails, they won't get back to you, how the fuck are you supposed to make that fight? So we have to do what we've got to do. I know they're concentrating on their fight coming up, but we will probably have to make our move on our fight, you know, 3-4 weeks after Wembley. So if it's not Wilder, then it has to be probably the WBO mandatory.
What are the chances that next week we'll see a Wilder Fury announcement or press conference?
Well, I mean, it baffles me, like, that you want to be that obsessed with Anthony Joshua that the whole thing might be planned around Joshua's fight week. So if you're trying to sell a fight to say that no, fuck AJ, this is the biggest fight in boxing, yet you're following AJ around like a couple of little boys, like harassing him on social media, trying to make announcements when he's making announcements, or trying to be relevant around him, that shows you what that fight is. That fight is a really good fight to find out who the second best heavyweight is in the world, because it's very clear who number one is. So, I mean, someone asked me again, media, when would you announce that fight? I said, I'd announce it in Vegas at Canelo Golovkin week, when everybody's there. But they will probably announce next week. But it doesn't mean the fight's going to happen.
Are you still...
Of course. I think Fury's got a 50% success rate in terms of turning up for fights in the last 4 or 5 fights. 4 fights. So, will that fight happen? I think it is 50-50. Maybe I'd slightly lean towards it happening. But anything can happen in that fight, mate. I mean, people could get injured, people might not fancy it, money might not be delivered in escrow accounts. Anything could happen in the build-up to the fight.
Let's say the fight does happen, gets announced for...
I hope it does, by the way. I genuinely hope it does. Because it makes Joshua's next fight even bigger, if we can get that fight.
So let's say it happens early part of December. Does that then make the negotiation for April 13 more difficult?
Probably impossible, yeah. That's why I want Wilder's team to answer our emails. This is in the last like week or so, or a week ago, that we've sent you the contract signed on all the terms that you agree. If you want to go back on that, and if you don't agree them anymore, I won't hold it against you. But can you tell us what you will agree to? Because we need to get April sorted. But they won't even reply.
But can you understand it now from their perspective that we're concentrating on Tyson Fury?
No, because you have to plan your future. That's a promoter's job, to plan and map out the future. If they really want the Joshua fight, which they say they want so bad, how can you not even talk about it? So I'm not expecting it. Fury shouldn't even know about it, but the team should be on us now saying, right, don't fight your mandatory in April, okay? Let's work together to make this fight happen, blah, blah, blah. We'll speak to the governing bodies, let them know that he's fighting Fury, and then he'll fight Joshua after that. But they don't want to fight him, because if they did, they'd get back to me. So it's all bullshit, and they've done a good job on the fans, because not everyone believes me, you know, and not everyone believes me a lot of the time anyway. But they've done a good job, and that, you know, they've used Joshua and me a little bit to raise their profile, and it has worked. They've done a really good job. And if they get the Fury fight, they've pulled a rabbit out of the hat, because that fight for them is the absolute perfect fight.
What about on the reverse? Having those early conversations with Tyson Fury's camp and MTK.
Me?
Potentially for April 13th. Because Tyson Fury could...
No, because he'll have a rematch clause.
He's the champion.
Yeah, so he will have to go into that fight and he'll be tied up. If he wins, he'll have to rematch Wilder anyway. So, you know, and I don't believe he wins that fight. If they fight, so I hope he wins. I hope he wins for Britain. But with a business hat on, obviously the Wilder fight is the one. And I don't really want him to win, because then they'll have to rematch in like June or something like that, and then we'll be waiting forever. So I just want Wilder's team to come back to me. Even if you want to call me a prick or tell me to fuck off, just reply. You know what I mean? Or just come back and say, we're not interested in talking about the fight now till we get the Fury fight done. Okay, I understand. But bear in mind, that means it won't happen in April. And then we'll be in the same situation where everyone's let down again. So we'll see. You know, a lot's going to happen. For us, the most important thing is win on September 22nd at all costs.
talking about people not getting back to you and the Americans, is it impossible now to have a matchroom fighter fight an Al Heyman fighter? Is that now just impossible to make?
No, we do that all the time.
Meaning now, obviously, with his new deal with Fox.
I know. Right, see, no. I mean, there's Al Heyman. There's supposed Al Heyman fighters signed to us. You know, Danny Jacobs, Jesse Vargas. You know, so.
But they'll only fight on your network.
Yeah. What are you saying? Will I let them fight on other and vice versa? The thing is I believe that Al Heyman's fighters don't have contracts with Showtime. Well, they can't have, because otherwise I wouldn't be approaching them and I'd be in trouble. And they don't have promotional contract. I mean, there's fighters, I won't mention any names, but there's fighters that, I'll spread this out so you won't know who it is, who've won in the last month on Showtime, that I'm speaking to, are calling me up saying, I'm out of contract, but I don't have a promotional contract. Can you make me an offer? But what a time to be a fighter, because we're making offers, ESPN are making offers, and Al will be desperately trying to hang on to him. And you know, you look at someone like, I don't know, Sean Porter, right? He come out in the paper and says, I'm a free agent. Right? So you just boxed on Showtime, won the world title, and you're a free agent. You can go to any other network. That's not great security for Showtime. So Sean Porter, I'll make Sean Porter an offer. I understand Bob Arum already has. And what happens then is, I'll make him an offer, Bob makes him an offer, he goes back to Al and he says, fuck me, look at that offer. And Al will have to say only one thing, I'll match it. It's going to get very, very expensive, and it's probably going to ruin everyone's business, but it will be a fight to the death, and our sleeves are tucked up and ready to go.
We were talking to FightHype, we were talking to Mikey last night in America, and he was talking about how he met Steven Espinoza, Errol Spence at an after party after the Barclays event, and he talked about that, how much he wants that fight. Now, I know you've gone on the record to say that you want to sign Mikey. Is it difficult to sign a fighter who then would say, well, I want to fight the best in welterweight, but actually, if I sign with Eddie Hearn, this fight is with Al, it's going to be impossible to make?
Yeah, but again, I don't believe Errol Spence has a contract with Showtime. So,
but how do you then convince them?
By offering them a ridiculous sum of money. That's how you convince a fighter to take a deal.
It's still taking time, isn't it?
Of course, it's going to take years. We're 3 months in. We're 3 months in, and on our platform, we have the biggest star in world boxing, Anthony Joshua. We have the undisputed cruiserweight world champion, Alexander Usyk. We have Jesse Vargas. We have the light welterweight world champion, Maurice Hooker. We have the super bantamweight champion, Danny Roman. We have the light heavyweight world champion, Artur Beterbiev. We have the unified women's world champion, Katie Taylor. We have soon-to-be middleweight world champion, Demetrius Andrade. We're 3 months in. Like, you know, and you only have to look at your interviews, or some of your other interviews, to see what we're up against. Like, the bitterness is real. You know, you look at Richard Schaefer, people like that. Richard Schaefer is like, when we start signing some of these people that we're talking to now, he's going to be like rolling around on the floor, just stamping it, going, no, no! Like, he's that bitter, because he can't get a TV deal. Richard Schaefer can't get a US TV deal. You know, all these other people, oh, they said it was the biggest deal, and now Fox is the biggest. No, it's not, by the way. Fox and Showtime, cumulatively, is not a bigger deal than the DAZN deal. Who cares? It's fucking irrelevant. I'm the outsider. I'm not the front runner. But I'm the one who's going to come and shock you all. And when I look at Dickie Schaefer, I just think, what are you doing? You can't even get a TV deal, mate. You're yesterday's news. So let me do my thing, and maybe I'll give you a job one day. You know?
Because you are working with Lou as well now. So.
Yeah, but Lou's going to make a lot of money out of what we're doing. And Lou's smart. Now, we have our bickering back and forwards, but Lou's big enough to go, do you know what? I see a little opportunity with me with the zone. Look at what he's done with Tevin Farmer. Fucking Tevin Farmer's making a fortune. DeBella will be as well. And other fighters that we'll be working on together. So I expect to do a lot of business with Lou DeBella. I expect to do a lot of business with everybody. I'm doing business with Yvonne Michelle. You know, I'm doing business with Thompson Boxing. I might be doing business with Main Events, with World of Boxing. It doesn't bother me. This isn't an ego crusade to go out there and say, well, I'm going to steal your fighters and it's Eddie Hearn only. Look how many co-promotions I'm doing. Usyk with K2. Doesn't matter. It's not about owning fighters. It's about having them on my network and putting on great fights and building a brilliant team of fighters. So, you know, but I'm just like, I'm in about 10 years' time, you're going to be interviewing me, right? And I'm going to be the most bitter, horrible man going, like all these other geezers. Do you know what I mean?
Well, he won't make it. It's not a big deal anyway. I mean, who are DAZN? Who's watching DAZN?
Fuck me, mate. Relax. Why are you so bothered? If you ain't bothered, why are you behaving like you're behaving? I'll tell you why, because you're fucking petrified. That's why. So we're going to have some fun. And if we don't crack it, we don't crack it. But tell me another UK promoter that's gone out there and done not just $1 billion deal, a $10 million deal, or any deal with a US broadcaster. I don't even think it's even existed. And we're not talking about airing our UK fights on with an American broadcaster. We've been doing that for years. We're talking about promoting 16 shows a year with the biggest budget out there. So give me a pat on the back. Say, go on, son, you're the fucking young Brit going to smash up the US market. Take them all on, disrupt the system. And by the way, if I was a fighter, I would be saying this is unbelievable. And a lot of fighters just want me to make them an offer so they can go back to their other guy. Good luck to them. Great time for boxing.
I saw a couple of weeks ago, Gervonta put a tweet out where he wrote, I've only fought once this year, SMH, shake my head, and you liked it as well. Do you think that's the problem as well for Al Haymon fighters? They're not getting out enough as well?
Listen, I see a lot of US fighters at the moment who think it's acceptable to box once a year, where while you're waiting for a show, you might get a bit more money, you might get a bag of cash, you might get a couple of necklaces, and it's all right. It's not. That's not how you build a career, that's not how you build a profile, that's not how you improve as a fighter. You know, I look at a lot of those guys. I mean, it was hilarious watching them all on Saturday drunk going around the Barclays, but I also looked at it and says, what sort of image is this for young fighters to be portraying? You're just running wild in the Barclays, drinking, like shouting, and you got all chains around you going, oh, I'm only fighting once a year, but I don't care because fucking I've got money. But that ain't what it's about. So you look at clever fighters like Tevin Farmer, who, if he wins on October 20th, will probably box on December 8th or 15th. He's making a lot of money, and he's improving as a fighter. And you look at the other guys, Gervonta Davis, boxed once this year. He ain't fighting in December, he's the size of him. And I love Gervonta Davis. I think he's unbelievable, and I like him as a person. You know, the Charlos, all that kind of guy. All he says, yeah, date coming soon, December. That's what Errol Spence said when he boxed Kell Brook in May. Yeah, date coming soon, November, December. Next thing, it's January or February. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see. But we just got to keep doing our thing. And one thing we're guaranteeing fighters is activity. You know, no bullshit. Yeah, you're fighting December, man. Okay, but by the way, there's 50k, yeah? And don't remember, we're on your side. Fucking hell, you're going to fall for that?
And obviously the aftermath from Saturday night, Amir Khan's victory over Vargas, a great entertaining night of boxing, I must say. It was a 3-fight deal initially, and your goal was Kell Brook at the end. How much pressure are you under now?
The goal was the big fight at the end. It's, you know, this is our third fight with him coming up, our contract, and that's a pay-per-view fight. My preference is Kell Brook. I think if you ask Manny honestly, Amir honestly, you know, he says, I've always wanted to fight Manny Pacquiao, so I would like to fight him. I think we're meeting tomorrow. We've got a press conference for the Copper Box tomorrow, and then I'm going to meet him after, and you know, we'll see. I think if he fights Kell Brook, he may run that in February, and if he fights Manny, that'll be in December. So we'll see. You know, he's in a good spot. There's a lot of people wanting to fight Amir Khan, because a lot of people think that he is towards the end of his career, but he's still a great fighter. You know, I think he got a bit too much stick on Saturday, because people say, like, that was really his first fight back after Canelo, because you can't take too much from the Greco fight. You know, I know he got put down in the second round, but he won every round pretty much. You know, so, and he'll improve. You know, he'll get. Well,
I think what people were saying, and I was obviously reading a lot on Sunday, that it's the same old mistakes.
But that's not,
but for him to step up to fight a Pacquiao or an elite level.
Yeah, but you're going to up your game. You know, you're going to up your game when you're in those kind of fights. But when you say it's the same old mistakes, the same old Manny Pacquiao, Amir Khan, yeah. But it's the same guy that beat Marcus Maidana, the same guy that beat Chris Algieri, the same guy that won world titles. He's never been different. He's always liked a fight. He's always liked to get involved. He's sometimes left his chin out when he shouldn't. But no, in that respect, he ain't going to change. And he's always going to be susceptible to being knocked out because he likes to fight. But that, you're right, that's never going to change. He's not going to suddenly get a better chin or stop getting involved so much in fights. But that's what makes him so exciting. Now, last Saturday he broke the UK record on subscription TV for boxing in the history of the sport. People love to watch him. I'm in their second round, up, down, fucking, I don't know what's going on. But that's called excitement. And you know, he's one of the best fighters that Britain's ever produced. So I think he deserves the credit.
The fight with Pacquiao, is that based on you signing Pacquiao?
No, no.
So it could be.
No, I'm talking about working with Pacquiao. I'm talking to them about the Hearn fight as well. So the two aren't interlocking. They both want a lot of money for that fight, you know, and that's something.
What do you want?
I want a Kell Brook fight, yeah, and I think it's a huge fight. There's more money in it. That's a bigger fight financially for Amir Khan.
The Kell Brook fight.
Yes.
He's gone on record to say no, the Pacquiao international is financially more.
Not in terms of I think what Pacquiao is willing to give up from the pot. So you know, Kell will have to take a smaller split. He will have to make it 147, but I think he's willing to do that.
But how much patience does Kell need to have? In the past,
Well, Kell wants a big fight. Kell
world title.
Kell was supposed to fight in July. He got injured, so he's made the decision to train for a December fight, and he wants a big fight, and he wants Amir Khan. But of course, if you don't get Amir Khan, he's going to have to fight somewhere else. Someone
147,
maybe, or 150, or 154. You know, we shall see.
A couple of final things. Usyk, Bellew.
Still going. You know, November's the target date for that.
Reading today, I think on Sky Sports that Usyk said Bellew, then heavyweight,
Yeah,
then Joshua.
that's what he wants. Yeah, so he wants Bellew in November, heavyweight in March or April, and then Joshua. So
Dylan White.
yeah, I mean Dillian White's.
He's come out to say it looks like Chisora could be my option.
Yeah, I think Chisora fight will happen on December 22nd. That's what we're talking about at the moment. It's not done yet, but that's, and then maybe Chisora, the winner of that fight, maybe even fight Joshua. But right now, like Joshua's not even thinking about April; he's just thinking about trying to beat Povetkin on September 22nd.
Anything I missed, Eddie?
No, the zone is live.
Yes. We had a sample last
week. Oh, did you? Good. It's good. It's great. It's very easy to use. I mean, you need to get on a free trial for the zone because it's $9.99 a month. But the free trial, although everyone wants you to sign up now, just let me tell you that if you sign up on the 21st or the 22nd of September, you will get the Anthony Joshua fight, you will get the World Boxing Super Series Super Middleweight final, you will get I think 2 or 3 Bellator events, you will get another 2 World Boxing Super Series events, you will get Jesse Vargas, Delorme, Beterbiev Johnson, Miller Adamic and McDonald Roman on October the 6th. You will get our Newcastle event October the 13th, and you will get Billy Joe Saunders against Andrade on the 20th. That's the first month. That's all for free, by the way. So I think it's unbelievable value. My mate messaged me last night. He lives in New York. He goes, "You know this DAZN?" I went, "Yeah." He goes, "Do we get all your UK shows as well?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "What, for $9.99 a month?" I swear to God, right? I'll tell you that because people probably think I'm lying, right? So, he goes, look. So he goes, it says, "Mate, do we get all your UK shows on DAZN?" I'll say yes. He goes, "Wow." I say $9.99 a month. Mate, that's unbelievable value. I'm all over it. Are you sure about this? This can't be right. Like, it's just like, it's $2.50 a week.
For everything UK?
Yeah.
Everything, all your shows in America?
So you got 32 shows there, plus you got 3 weight classes from the World Boxing Super Series, plus the final Super Middleweights. You've got all the Bellator events, and there's some other big announcements coming soon for content on there. So, just got to spread the word. So Fight Hype subscribers, spread the word. DAZN, DAZN, now launched in the App Store, Smart TV, get at it.
Eddie Hearn for FightHype.com, thank you very much.